All right. So we are going to take a few minutes here to look at the lyrics of the song you just heard, which is Election Day. Because keep in mind, your learning target today is to compare the written text, the lyrics, to the audio version. So we're going to do the lyrics first. So go ahead and click right here to open up your lyrics to Election Day. And then go ahead and, if you haven't already done so, and click Take Quiz. And let's look at that first question. What is the effect of repeating the phrase election day in the text? So if you look at the song, it starts off with election day, and then it repeats it again, election day. It's in almost every stanza as you go through, especially in that beginning part. So let's look right here at the beginning where it repeats election day. Election day, election day. That's the day when everybody's happy. That's the day when everybody's glad. Election day, election day. That's the day when you forget all the aches and pains you had. Then, if you look in the second stanza, here's election day again. And then after it, we have hooray, 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 hooray. So we're definitely getting a sense of excitement here. Everybody's happy. Everybody's glad. Hooray, 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 hooray. Election day, election day, election day. So why does he repeat that? So let's look at our answer choices. Well, there we go. I see the word excited. That's pretty much what I said in the first place. But I'm going to look at the other answer choices just to be sure. It reminds everyone that election day is happening. If that were the right answer, it would be giving us the day. This one, we have the word drudgery. Now, you may not know what that word means, but even just the way it sounds shows the drudgery that people must face on election day. So, this is the opposite of excitement. So, that would be wrong. It changes the tone of the song with each mention of election day. So, we looked at the two stanzas where it mentions election day, and both of the tones are the same. They're both excitement. So, you'll go ahead and select A, or the first answer choice. Now let's look at question 2. What does the phrase promises they busted indicate about what the politicians did in the past? What the politicians did in the past. So I'm going to look for that phrase. It's in this second stanza. Let me go ahead and read the whole stanza. You gather at the election polls, and there you stand in line. Although the day be dark and cold, still you never mind. You are thinking of the politicians whom last year you trusted, and when they got into positions, promises they busted. You will try not to make the same mistake. So let's think about what's happening here. He's talking to the voters. There you stand in line. So the voters are standing in line. So he's talking to the voters. You are thinking of the politicians. So, a politician is somebody who's running for office, whom last year you trusted. So, last year, when it was election day, we elected these politicians because we thought they were going to do the right thing. When they got into positions, promises they busted. Now, you probably know the word busted. If you bust something, you break it. So, they broke their promises. The politicians broke their promises. So now let's look at my multiple choice. What does the phrase indicate about what the politicians did in the past? So notice each of these answer choices starts with they. They refers to the politicians. So did the politicians change the minds of their voters? Well, it does say in the text, you will try not to make the same mistakes. I'm going to keep that one for now. They did not do what they said they would. So let's see. Last year you trusted. When they got into positions, promises they busted. So they promised they were going to do something, but they didn't do it. They broke their promise. So that sounds like a really good answer. The politicians did not tell their voters what they were doing. Well, no, politicians did tell them. They gave the promises they busted. So that would be wrong because they did make the promises. They got some of their voters in trouble with the law. Well, no, there's nothing in there about that. So that would mean B is our correct answer. Now let's look at number 3. In the lyrics, we learn that even if the day be dark and cold, people will never mind. What does this imply about election day? So let's go back and find those words in the selection. Although the day be dark, okay, so it's in that same stanza. You gather at the election polls, and there you stand in line. Although the day be dark and cold, still you never mind. So again, we're talking, or he's talking to the voters. You gather at the polls, and there you stand in line. Although the day be dark and cold, still you never mind. So it's cold outside, it's dark, but the people standing in line don't care about the dark and the cold. They want to vote, they want to be there. And we already said for question number 1, they're excited to be able to vote, to be able to have this opportunity to vote. So they're not bothered by the dark and the cold, they're focused on what they're doing for election day. So let's look at our answer choices. Election day is always a difficult event. Well, no, that's not correct because we just saw they don't mind it being there. Election day is held at a dreary time of year. Well, it does talk about it being dreary outside, so that's a possibility. People have to be forced to come out for election day. Well, no, that would not be correct because the text says it's dark and cold, but you don't mind. So they're choosing to be there. So C would be incorrect. People are optimistic about election day no matter what. So that word optimistic refers to that positivity, that hope. So that would be our best answer. Although the day is dark and cold, still you never mind. They don't care how dark and cold it is. They're excited to be there. So D would be our correct answer. Notice just a test taking strategy here. What I did for all 3 of these, I looked at the text and tried to answer the questions in my own words first, and then looked at the answer choices to see what the best answer is. Last question, question number 4. What techniques does the writer use to emphasize ideas and create excitement? Now, notice we're being asked to look at the writer. So we're not thinking about the musical techniques. This is writing techniques. So if you look at your answer choices, you can eliminate tempo and tone of voice because those are both musical techniques. And I'm being asked about the writer's techniques. So it's either going to be figurative language or repetition. So think about question number 1 just asked us, what is the effect of repeating the phrase? It shows that people are excited. That's going to help me answer question number 4. What technique does the writer use to emphasize ideas and create excitement? The answer is repetition. So notice how question number 4 and question number 1 go together. Another test taking strategy here that oftentimes you can use other questions to help you with future questions. So go ahead and click Submit Quiz. Later in class today, we'll be listening to the song again and answering some questions about the musical technique.